Eye on Gauteng, brought to you by the Gauteng Department of Economic Development.
Welcome back. You're watching Eye on Gauteng. Still with us is Paulo Manilau, Welile Maleka, and Johannes Mangwejan. And we're talking about the automotive industry in the Gauteng province. And Paulo, the South African government wants the automotive industry to increase its output by 1.2 million vehicles per year, local consumption, export, and so on. Is this realistic? Can we achieve those numbers?
I think just a slight correction, Lionel. It's actually increasing to, not by. We're currently producing just over 500,000.
Okay.
So it is a significant increase, but these numbers were actually projected during the country's all-time peak production rates during the 2007-8 period as well. It is going to definitely be quite a stretch, largely because South African, the automotive industry is a global sector. So global economic forces, and I think we all know what's happening in Europe, etc. In the financial crisis that's taking place, those things certainly do play a role. So it is an ambitious target, but I think it's necessary to have an ambitious target to strive. And if we come short, I think we'll still make a significant.
Do we have the capacity?
We currently don't have the capacity, but over the next 8 years, it's very, very important that we start building that capacity. I think not just from that just isolated within the supply side of the automotive industry. We need to look at, and my colleague Willie spoke about the ports, etc. We need to look at how we ramp up capacity there. We need to look at the competitiveness of our supply base, which in certain areas, I think at a tier 1 level, who supply straight into the assemblers, are up to world-class standards. But as you go down the value chain, there's certainly quite a lot of deterioration in terms of performance. Our skills base needs to be, I think, accelerated quite a lot to world-class standards. So both from a skills base and I think from the number of technical engineers and artisans, etc. Technical skills definitely needs to be ramped up significantly. We need to look at significant localization and local beneficiation as well.
When you say localization and beneficiation, you're talking about using our steel, using our...
Yes, yeah. Currently it is I think an indictment on our country that most of the raw metals are mined in South Africa, they're processed abroad, and we tend to buy the finished product. And there's the import parity pricing debate that still rages on, that we pay for materials that were sourced in South Africa at international rates. But also, I think from a localization, it is genuine that we need to start becoming a country that exports finished goods as opposed to raw materials.
Well, Lily, what will this mean for you if the output is pushed by or to 1.2 million? Semantics, yeah. No, but we must get it right, yeah.
Look, I think it's a huge opportunity. It's a huge opportunity from from the park perspective. We have, in fact, we're already gearing up for it in making sure that there's a deepening of the value chain in the automotive
at the moment. The model that you're working under the park, is it only Gauteng based, or have you rolled it out elsewhere?
Only in Gauteng.
Okay.
But as I was saying to you, very important for us because it allows us to now look at and have a clear program to support the lower tiers. I think my colleague Balo has said that the tier 1's world class, but we see this as an opportunity now to actually drill in and develop, support the lower tiers, particularly the 3 and 4s. And then again, it also opens up for us transformation opportunities within the industry. In that space, in the programs that we're running in conjunction with our sister agency, the AIDC, those are the programs we've put in place to make sure that as, the industry starts to galvanize and move towards these targets, that we're able to support them, not only with suppliers that can actually supply world class and not impact or bring concern for the quality at the OEM level, but also to make sure that skills development continues to be addressed within the industry. So we've got a number of initiatives. We've got the empowerment zone that we're looking at within the park. We've got training academies that we're looking at, which are going to actually provide a holistic skills development program run through AIDC. So quite a number of things that I think for us are quite critical critical. And as I've said, the transformation issue cannot be underestimated in the opportunity that these targets are giving for us.
I think I'm glad you picked it up about the fact that opportunities need to be opened up. Johannes, if the industry has to grow substantially, almost double to where it is right now, this will mean more competition for you, won't
Yeah,
it?
for us it will be mostly welcome. Firstly, it will be job creation. As you know that most of our matriculants or those who leave school, they are unemployed. And it will be a growth in terms of expansion also for the park. For the size of the factories that we have, it will mean that we have to expand to grow us to accommodate those volumes.
Will you have more competitors, people that will be competing with you at the park?
Yeah, we already have. But it's a
good thing.
It's a healthy competition. Yes. Because sometimes somebody loses a job this side, but he doesn't go outside the park. He's within the park at one of the competitors. But we don't want to be seen as playing with the people. We want to keep the people for sustainable jobs.
That's right. Yeah.
And also for our tanneries, where we source leather from, it will also create jobs because it will be a lot of opportunities for people. And furthermore, it will also be creating jobs for agriculture because we must get these cows from there to be slaughtered, and people will grow fatter by eating meat.
So you're just interested in the skins?
Yes.
Paolo, the global economic pressures that the automotive industry is currently under, the global economy, we are no longer a small village, we are now a big sort of family, if you will, and competition is rife. South Africa is now a member of BRICS. But each and every one of the BRICS countries want what we want.
Yes.
They want more markets. And how does this play out? Do you see that this might be a threat for the industry locally?
Yes, no, there's no doubt. It's definitely a threat. The automotive industry is I think, a significant contributor to the GDP of South Africa, just under 7%. But we are 0.6% of the global
not even
production.
1%.
Not even 1%. So if you look at that, it's in a very, very fragile state. So we need to, and government identifies this, and that's hence the reason why they have set up these entities like AIDC, SPDC to look at supporting and preserving the industry. So first and foremost is to ensure that we can we preserve that 0.6%, hopefully move it up to 1%. And look at growing. But with the global economic crisis, we've had this problem since 2008-9, I think, with all the bailouts, etc. And now what we're seeing in Greece, in Spain, in Portugal, etc. Most of the sourcing decisions for the multinational companies are made offshore. Every single assembly we have is a foreign-owned company. And most of those countries, the economy is stagnating at the moment. So it's very, very important to consider the fact that if decisions are made offshore, the interests of South Africa might not be put as a high priority. So we need to ensure that we can claim business based on our competitiveness and not, through some socioeconomic reason or looking at South Africa as a, as a case for special consideration. We need to ensure that we can compete globally and compete on merit.
Well, Lily, I want to bring you in on the whole competitiveness issue, and I want Johannes also to weigh in on that. There's a constant pressure on local producers to bring their prices down, and people want to save money. And how do you think we as a country are responding to those pressures?
I think we are responding to the pressures. I think the DTI initiatives that we seek to really address that. But if we look at it, from an SPDC perspective, and again, I emphasize the fact that we are a government program, because the importance there is that we see ourselves as partners to our tenants. And therefore, that means our model is not based on competitive recovery as per the normal industry in terms of what you'd find in industrial parks.
But you help bring the prices down.
We support. We run a shared services model,
okay.
And And secondly, I think it's important to note that with the global crisis that we've just come out of, we didn't lose one tenant in the park. So again, the issues that my colleague is raising about us being, making sure that the players in the, in the industry that we are supporting are world class is important. But I think from the park perspective, that we also need to respond when the tide turns. We need to be able to, to respond to those challenges, and we've got programs to ensure that, we are a continuous partner in the cycle, and that we are contributing positively to the automotive.
And how long
value
has the
chain.
park been running now, since inception?
2001. So actually, this is our 11th year.
And it's going strong.
And it's going stronger and stronger.
Fantastic. Johannes, obviously you're also affected by those cost constraints.
Yes.
Suppliers saying that, look, you need to be cheaper. How do you handle that? Because you've got 900 people on your hands.
The international economic competition is very stiff. For example, we tender globally, and our competition is with multinational companies, and we are a South African company owned by South Africans. For example, the cost of labor in South Africa, comparatively speaking, is too high. Our competitors sometimes, they do 2 car sets per person per day. We make 1 if we are lucky. Now you can just check how the competition is.
Wow.
But we are striving there. We are keeping the competition, and we are there.
But you know that labor debate is very sensitive. I mean,
It's very sensitive.
It's probably for another day.
Now let me just answer that. We know it's sensitive, but we have to conscientize people and make them aware about how expensive they are. Because if we don't talk about it, they think it is normal.
Okay.
But we can put it for another day.
Another day.
Yes.
Right. The future of the industry, very quickly, last comments, sustainability of the industry as it is. I know we've talked about projections. Is the South African automotive industry in good hands going forward?
Yeah, I certainly think it is. I think with the success of the MIDP, the APDP, government has given assurance that there will be incentive support from the DTI. I think if you look at Gauteng provincial government, our MEC for Economic Development, has been very, very outspoken about the level of support that the Gauteng government will provide for the automotive industry. And if you look at within the sectors, automotive is a priority sector for the DTI, for the National Department of Economic Development. It is certainly for the Gauteng Department of Economic Development as well. And we've just summarized a few of the numerous programs, but certainly it is top of mind, top of agenda for I think our political principles, as well as ASUA at the implementation end of those policies.
Okay, Welile, future of the automotive industry?
Very exciting. I think, we are seeing a concerted effort from the DTI to support commercial vehicles in the country. And this opens a whole new opportunity in the African market for us. So, we are seeing the opportunity to attract assemblers in that space, light commercial vehicles. Already just in the local market, the sales are 25% as per NAMSA stats. And if you look at what the requirement is in Africa, largely the focus is on light commercial vehicles and commercial vehicles largely. So that opportunity really gives us the comfort that the investment is warranted, and that it's got a role to play in ensuring, the future of the automotive industry and sustainability.
Fantastic. Johannes, are you optimistic about your industry going forward?
Yes, very, very, very much so. Because it's going to create a lot of opportunities. Look at the logistical part of it. Even within Roslyn, there are newcomers within logistics because of the expansion of the park and the industry itself. If Nissan and the BMW within Roslyn is expanding, there are opportunities coming in. So it will go a long way, and it will still be there in another 10, 20 years, I suppose.
Fantastic. Thank you very much to my guests. You guys were great. And thank you very much for watching the show.